Okay, I think everybody should be able to hear us now. The mic was on mute. Okay, so we're okay now. Yeah, Judy says no sound. Well, there is now. There should be. So, yeah. So we'll give everybody a couple of seconds here to get oriented and for YouTube to catch up. Yep, it looks like everything's fine there. Okay, so hello everybody, and let's see who's joining us today. We have Donna is here. And Melissa and Barb and Brenda. Hope you're feeling better, Brenda. Candace, Sue Ellen Quilts is here. Judy, Joan from Sunday, beautiful Sunday here in Springfield, Illinois. I think every state in the United States has a Springfield.
Pretty much.
That's why the Simpsons
Yeah.
come from Springfield. Because you never know what state they're in. Diana's here. Hi, Diana. And Patsy. Suzanne is here. Suzanne says she enjoyed the retreat yesterday, had lots of cutting done. Thank you for organizing it. As we do know, there's lots of work involved in it. Yep, well, I'm glad you had a good time. That makes it worthwhile. Heather's here, and Katie Crafts, and Mona, and Colleen is here. An update on my little visitor is that my cat has not alerted to it, so I'm hoping for the best. Oh, okay. So your cat doesn't seem to be too interested in helping you with your little problem. That figures. I don't think our old cat, Cleo, if she actually saw something like that live, she probably would have ignored it too.
What's that?
A mouse.
Oh.
In the house.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But yeah, because she didn't know what a real mouse looked like. All she ever saw were the fake ones we used to give her to play with. If it didn't have a stick up its rear end, that was her favorite ones to play with. She wouldn't know what it was. Charlotte's here.
In fact, you'd probably be scared of it.
Yeah, she probably would have been. Glenna is here. Beautiful O'Fallon, Missouri. Tracy is here, and Mary O's is here. Teresa, Sue, Joanne, Kay, and Faith. Okay, so we've got lots of people here, and I'm sure a few more are going to join us as we go on, but we might as well get right into things. I can only hear out of one ear. It's still COVID thing. Of course, the good ear's the one that's facing Walter. Should be the other way around. But
Let's go. He seems to be ignoring me fairly well too. So anyway,
well, do something I shouldn't ignore. Same old same.
I obviously can watch TV, so
yeah. And what's your problem? And obviously, you can get on a computer all day long, all night long.
Deleting my
life.
I was deleting all my garbage email.
Oh, you have garbage email? Yeah, really? Everybody has garbage email. It's called scammers. We're gonna talk about that.
Well, this is mostly promotions from legit businesses.
Yeah, well, you go into that unsubscribe mode for those,
I know,
and it doesn't seem to work.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem to work.
I've had a few that I've unsubscribed several times, and they did.
Yeah, it just keeps coming. Yeah, I know. Karen is here. Hi, Karen. And Kay's Purple Wall is also here. Okay, so what I've been working on? Still haven't been working on that much. But yesterday during the retreat, I was actually surprised. I was able to work on this project, which I'm about to show you right now. And let me switch screens. And this is an In the Hoop applique project. It's designs by Juju. They call it modular seasonal table runner because there's actually there's three different end pieces where that flower pot is. There's a watering can and another one with watermelon on it. And there are three different center pieces that you can mix and match or do all the same or whatever. So I took the one that's supposed to look like in the center not scrappy, but what they used to call that crazy quilt. Crazy quilt. It turned out okay, but I did make a little mistake. And if you look at my stitching of the panels, you'll notice there's a couple that look a little off. That's because I put the wrong color there. It was supposed to be the color you see on the border, but when I was putting the pieces together, I didn't think of that, so I used a different color. And then when you start putting it together, I went, oh, that was supposed to be part of the inner border. So I kind of cheated and re-sewed the pieces on over top of it, but they didn't come out quite right. So yeah, oh well, it's a little wonky. I'll give it to somebody who doesn't care about wonkiness. But anyways, I always like doing these kind of things, though, as you know. They're fun. I don't really like doing the sewing the pieces together, although that's not that difficult. And I have found a trick. When you're sewing them together, use invisible thread. It really helps. Then you don't have pieces showing up where you don't want them to show up. But anyways, that's what I got most of that done. Well, I'd started it before the retreat, but I got the basic panels done by the end of the retreat. And this morning I sewed it all together after I fixed up my little mistake. And so what did you do yesterday?
Well, yesterday in the morning I was sort of dozy because I was up early. But about halfway through the day, I had cut out a shirt. So I started putting the shirt together. It's not done yet, but I got a lot of it, fair bit of it done. I got sleeves in and stuff. It's Australian fabric. So
It's the fabric that Philippa gave you.
yeah. So it's kind of cool. It's got kangaroos on it.
Yeah, I really like that fabric. That's really
and
nice.
That nice color. So yeah. So that's what I've been doing.
It'll look real good on me. So get on with it.
Yeah, I know.
Summer's coming. Let's see who. Karen from Maryland. I thought that Laurel is here, and Andy's here. Hi, Andy. She's Jeannie's signing in. Okay, and Elsa, she's listening while she's working in her garden, and Shirley's here. Hi, Shirley. Haven't seen you in a bit. And Teresa likes the shirt. Yeah, it's gonna make a great shirt. I love that.
Yeah, it's nice pattern.
Yep. I love the Australian fabrics, though, as you know, because they're so colorful and the designs are really cool that are in them. I still haven't done anything with the ones that I bought when we were over there. Haven't figured out what I'm going to do with them yet. Dana's here. Hi, Dana. And Tamella's here. So, yeah, I'm getting back into the hang of things, but, well, I just still haven't been feeling absolutely energized. If I could get rid of this cough and if I could get rid of this damn stuffed up ear, I'd feel a lot better. Besides those two things, I don't really feel bad. A little tired, but that's about it. Ooh. Stephanie's here. Hi, Stephanie. And so, all right, let's talk about what has been happening and what's coming up. Okay, so first announcement coming up, the usual, Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen. This coming Wednesday, 9 a.m. start time. Come anytime you want. We run until about 4 a.m., 4 p.m., and work on whatever you want to work on. Now, yesterday there were a few people at the retreat that voiced an interest in Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen. I don't know where they've been, that they hadn't heard about it since we talk about it every week, and it's always in the show notes. But anyways, just so everybody knows, everybody's welcome. I think sometimes people think that we are a closed group, that because there's regulars there, but we're not. In fact, we love to have new people come and join us. So yeah, don't be shy about it if you've thought about it. And I do know there were a few people on the retreat yesterday that had never been to a virtual retreat and were a little apprehensive because it was Zoom, because they weren't sure how to use Zoom. No problem. Everybody, it worked out fine for everybody. There weren't, from my end anyways, I didn't see or hear any technical difficulties. So yeah, that's what we use for Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen. So nothing to be afraid of whatsoever.
Yeah, and it's like a retreat. It's not recorded or anything like that. So it's not like you'll end up on YouTube.
No, it's not recorded. It's private. Shirley said she's been in the hospital. Oh, geez, Shirley. Same problems as before. I know you've have a problem with your blood pressure and everything like that. So I hope you're figuring it out. Teresa says major jet lag, COVID over
60.
60, and you wonder why you aren't bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I'm not giving in to the age thing. Nah. 60 is the new 50.
Well, so what? Laying around on the couch in the afternoons.
What is this you've got this in your claw? Laying. And what the hell are you doing? Oh, sleep until noon.
So?
Yeah, right. And you're younger than me.
And I'm up at
6 months. Well, whose fault's that? Anybody twist your arm, stay up till 3? No. Why are you up to 3? Because you don't because you sleep till noon. So,
I don't have to go to bed.
Yeah, well, whatever. Really. Hi, Ingrid. Hi, Sue. GSD. Okay, I lived through the coughing. Sue says she was watching our Accuquilt video. I believe you may have undervalued your dies and machines by quite a bit. I'm mentioning this if you need to adjust for insurance. Oh, yeah. Actually, I've never thought of the insurance thing with it. Yeah, I think I said in that video, probably it's got maybe in around $5,000 or $6,000. Yeah, you're probably right. It probably is undervalued, Sue. Judy says, I drop it occasionally and always felt welcome. Yep, everybody is. More enablers on Wednesday, as Faith says. Yes, somebody always shows me something I've never seen before, and it's a must-have. So, in fact, we have a few people in there that try to encourage me to spend money as well. And it's not really a hard job for them to do. I can be easily led down the garden path on that kind of thing. That doesn't mean, though, if you join us that you're going to feel obligated that you have to buy something. No, we're not a business. It's a bit of a joke, actually, where we kind of say, oh, have you seen this? Ooh, you should get that. Let's see here. Oh, there's Jeannie. Jeannie made it in. Hi, Jeannie. And Elsa. Did I say hi to Elsa? I think I did. Walter. Elsa says she's a night owl, too.
Yeah, so's Barb Olson, so's Andy and Jeannie.
You women, you're missing, you people that are Nighthawks, you're missing the best part of the day. My most productive part of the day is from the moment
part of the night.
There's nothing to see. What, do you all get naked and run around a campfire or something?
There's lots to do.
It's dark. Well, you and the bats. Whatever. That's probably why we've had bats in the house. They know you're up.
Yeah, well.
They're friendly bats. They want to come in and see you. Hi, your pets. I don't know. To me, to sleep that late into the day is like wasting half the day with it all. So, yeah. Whatever. You Nighthawks. Shirley says, ooh, she left on Thursday in an ambulance, heart issues. We'll be here for what? Oh, are you still in the hospital, Shirley?
That's what it said. She said she was in the hospital.
Well, yeah, but I thought she had been in the hospital.
Oh, okay.
I thought, man, but still in the hospital? Jeez, Shirley. Well, I hope they can figure out what's going on and do something for you. Sue says, we love to welcome new people to Wednesday Sew Day, as long as they don't mind our snacking. That's an inside joke. Okay, and you'll hear it on the Wednesdays oftentimes, like someone will say, oh my God, you're eating, and you're on camera. We had a crackpot, and that's what she was, that got into our ranks at one time. She wasn't a regular, and she made a big to-do. Or the fact that people were having a snack on camera. And in her way of thinking, well, that wasn't proper. You just didn't do that. And
she decided to impose her thoughts on other people.
On other people to the point of upsetting people.
Yeah.
And at the time that this took place, I happened to not be away from my computer screen.
Yeah, it's like she waited until Steve was away from the room to mention this.
That's the only time we've ever had a problem. And that person is banned. I have spoken to the person by way of email. She felt she had done nothing wrong. And right there, we don't like that kind of attitude. Those are not the people that we welcome to our sewing group. Our sewing group is a bunch of friends, and we're getting together. And everybody, like I said, everybody is made to feel welcome because they are.
It's a casual atmosphere.
And it's very casual. If you want to munch on something, go ahead. If you want a 4-course meal, while we're doing, go ahead. There's not a problem with that whatsoever. But you'll hear us joke about that. Andy says, Jeannie and I are with Walter. We're both night owls. One time we talked about until 1 a.m. Central Time. I'd be asleep by then. Ingrid says there are regulars, but everyone's very welcome. There are inside jokes, but someone always explains it. Yeah, so you don't need to feel that you'll be left out. We always take into consideration that we have new people, and we make sure we bring everybody up to speed. It's not like one of the, you get involved with a group and they're all giggling away about something, but you feel you're on the outside of it. No, we're very conscious of making sure that people don't feel like they're on the outside. The moment they enter in, they're welcome.
Yeah, or if something is occurring, just say, "What's so funny?"
Yeah. Yeah, we like questions. Yeah. There's no secrets in our group. Maybe there should be, but there aren't. Teresa says, reference the Accuquilt. Eleanor Burns, Quilt in the Day, has some good videos and tips. If you can get past the fluff and very old jokes, thanks 50. She's a cute old lady and has accomplished a lot. Yep, I used to watch her on a regular basis. She is, I mean, if you've been into quilting for any length of time, you know who Eleanor Burns is, and she's an ambassador for Accuquilt. And yeah, I've watched many of her videos about Accuquilt. And she always, takes her little scraps of fabrics and throws them with a flourish into the air behind her. And she's on YouTube. So I haven't watched her in a while. So I'm not sure if she's doing as many videos as she used to on there. I mean, I'm not sure how old Eleanor Burns is, but I mean, good God.
She's older than us.
I think that woman was doing quilts when she was in a chuck wagon moving across the western United States in the 1800s. I don't know. But she is a wonderful source of information. Barb's sharing stories about her mom in the hospital. It's never good when you hear about hospitals these days. On Thursday as well, with an infection, and now she has COVID. Oh, great. She celebrated her 90th birthday on April 27th.
Eleanor Burns is 78.
Is that all she is?
Yeah.
Geez, I thought she was like way up in her 80s. Well, whatever. Hi, Celie. Sue says, we're also great problem solvers and eager to help fellow quilters. Yeah, it's a great source of information. If you're having a problem with something, come and ask. Somebody in the group will have an answer for you. In fact, there'll probably be several answers.
And they're great at promoting new products for you to buy.
Yeah, that's what we always said. Enablers. Where were you? We had this discussion minutes ago. Really. But yeah, so, never be afraid to, say you're having a problem with something or you're not sure how to do something, because everybody will help. It's great for that. I've learned so much from this group. It's kind of like, Stephanie says, it's kind of like our own little guild with no quilt police or cliques. Yeah, it is. Yes, because there's so many of us that are regulars there. But as I said, all are welcome. You will become a regular within minutes. Yeah, Stephanie says Eleanor Burns is 78. Yeah. Yes, Faith. I have her book. It isn't that new now. She brought it out a couple of years ago, but it's full of stuff. It's great. In fact, I forgot kind of all about that I owned that book. I should dig it out and take another look at it in there for ideas. Charlene is here. Hi, Charlene. And Joan. Joan says she thinks Eleanor Burns is wonderful seamstress. I've always thought you were supposed to throw things on the floor. Always love watching her on PBS station. Yeah, well, she's an institution, basically. Oh, and Celie says, I try to talk everyone out of buying stuff on Wednesday sewing with Steph and Steve, but it never works. He. I don't think I've ever noticed you talking us out of it. You talk yourself out of it. I know that. Yeah, I did too, Joan. I thought she was at least in her 90s as well. Yeah, Shirley, that's got to be a real drag. She's confined to bed for 24 hours a day. Yeah, really. Well, I hope you get much better very quickly. We need you. We need more videos about using freezer paper and paper piecing stuff. You're the queen of that. Ingrid says, great way to describe Stephen and Walter's groupies. What was that?
I guess you're sewing with Stephanie and Stephen.
Oh, okay. The enablers. Yeah, Sue says Celia is just too practical. Yeah, she is. Bit of a buzzkill when you've got yourself all set up to buy something. Yeah, it might be true you don't really need it, but that's the fun of it, isn't it? Is buying that which you don't need. At least it's fun for me. I don't know. So
you don't need to quilt either. So.
You're just Mr. All Roses and Sunshine today, aren't we? Is there anything else you'd like to criticize while you're here? Any other downer points you want to make? Jeez.
Well, I'm just saying that, you don't need to quilt. So, like, then you don't, like, if you want to buy something you don't need. Like, you don't need a car. You can walk everywhere. Just...
Dutch logic. Yeah. His finger's been in the dike too long.
It's like people that say, "Oh, I have 2 kids, so I need a great big huge car." They don't need a great big huge car.
Well, they don't need kids either. But, let's try to stop them on that one. Stephanie says we do need to quilt. It's our therapy. Exactly, Stephanie. Judy's here. Hi, Judy. And Cheryl's here. Great retreat yesterday. Sorry I had to leave early. Granddaughter graduation for high school. So proud. She was awarded a full 4-year for college. Thank you. Oh, she's a little brain. That's great. Well, that's nice that she got that because the cost of university these days. Yeah. So, well, good for her. Okay, so we've got a real good discussion going on about everybody's horror stories in the hospital.
Well, they're all talking about Calgary hospitals.
Oh, God. Well, let's not even get into the hospitals in the state they're in these days. It's okay, Barb. You get to an age, don't you, where you're either talking about the weather or you're talking about your health. That's what it's all about these days. That's why we have therapy, why we have quilting. Quilting is our therapy. Gives us something else to talk about as well. Okay, so I talked about sewing with Stephanie and Stephen a little bit. And as we said, if you've never been and you're available on Wednesdays, please join in. There's a link for it, for the Zoom link, in the show notes in this video when it comes out today and in all my videos next week. And it's also in the community tab of Stephanie's channel as well. So it's right there for you.
Charlene Lamb said that yesterday was her first virtual retreat.
Oh, so you're a little apprehensive first. Absolutely a friendly and sharing group. Lots of laughs and learn some things about PEI. Yep. Yeah, you always learn something at them. And I'm glad that you enjoyed it, Charlene, because if you've never been to one of my pop-up sew days either, they run very much the same, except that they do not have a presenter. There's no presentations and there's no prizes. Sorry with that. But those are come and go as you please. And the next pop-up sew day, tentatively, I haven't made a firm decision on this, but I'm thinking Saturday, May the 18th. Now, for us in Canada, that is what we call the 2-4 weekend. That's the first long weekend that kicks off kind of the unofficial start of summer. But we never go anywhere for that. That's also when a lot of people feel that it's safe to put their flowers in and things like that because the chance of frost is less, although it's happened before. So that's when I'm thinking it'll be. So that's in about 2 weeks' time. And there will be an announcement about that the few days before. And it's a Zoom. It is not a YouTube Live. It is a Zoom. It's not recorded. And it's kind of the same procedure as the retreat or as our sew days. Bring whatever you want to work on. Come and go as you please. And those usually start at, I open the doors up for it at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. You don't have to be there at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Especially those of you that are out west. That would be 5 a.m. for you. You might not want to get up that early. And we usually run until 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. So, yeah. So, pencil that into your calendar if you're interested. Saturday, May the 18th. and be more about that as we get a little closer to the date. And you don't have to register for it or anything like that.
Barb Olson says, I hope I don't get on your blacklist because I got booted from the retreat.
No, there is nobody on the blacklist from this retreat. Okay? Nobody at all. No, Barb, you told me you were having a problem with your internet. And yeah. And I had a couple of other people too that were having some technical difficulties with their internet. I don't think it was you, Barb, that told me this. Maybe I'm wrong, but somebody told me that they were working outside of their house. They were trimming trees or something, and they dropped a tree on their line down, which kind of cut them off. So yeah. So no, nobody was on the blacklist. And well, let's talk a little bit about the retreat now and how I felt that it went, and how you those of you that attended, how you felt it went. I got a lot of emails from people saying they had a really good time and they appreciated it. And that makes me feel good, because that's the reason why I do them. I do them to provide a spot for people to come and have an enjoyable day without leaving the comfort of your own home with it. I used to do personal retreats, like in-person retreats, when you travel to them. But you know something? Those don't interest me much anymore, with the exception of Stephanie's. Okay? The ones I was going to before, it was a big hassle. You had to drag all your stuff with you, and then you'd get there, and it was kind of unique for Walter and I, because we were usually the only men at them, and yeah, that had mixed reactions. There were some ladies that couldn't have been nicer, and we ran into some, how do I put it gently, bitches, who basically didn't want us there.
Yeah,
you know, they hovered over top of us, especially Walter, because he wasn't quilting. He was working shirts.
I was working on shirts, and I had a woman come over to me several times and give me like a hard time. They were questioning me on what I was doing and why I was sewing shirts, and why if I was reselling them or something like that. Like, they were giving me a hard time about it.
And they wouldn't leave you alone.
No.
You'd give them the answer to their question, and that wasn't good enough. And then they were practically sitting in your lap. Oh, well, this is how I would do it. And you should, like, no, I didn't ask you for your help. Okay? If I need help, I'll ask. And then they'd come over to me too and do the same thing, as though they treated us like we were small children,
didn't know what we were doing.
Didn't know how to plug in a sewing machine, kind of a thing. Didn't really appreciate the condescending attitude.
And then you went to one from your guild.
Oh, that was the retreat from hell.
And they made a big deal about you putting the toilet seat down after.
Oh, this retreat, and I think that was my last. No, that wasn't my last retreat. The last retreat we went to was the one from Ultimate Sewing.
Yeah.
But I went to this one retreat with my guild. Walter wasn't at it. And it was just me and 30 ladies or whatever. And they were nasty. They were argumentative and the whole bit. And I decided at one point to lighten up the mood and said to them, because they had sort of like two washrooms, right? Under normal circumstances, that would have been the men's and the ladies, right? But, the ladies were using the men's because, I was the only man there and whatever. So that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. They were like what I call single holers anyway. So, it was a private bathroom. And I made the joke. I said, oh, by the way, if you walk into that washroom and that toilet seat is up, that is not me. Somebody here has a secret. And I thought that was funny. And some of the other ladies did too. But then the president of the guild came up to me later and she says, I'm so glad that you mentioned that about the toilet seat, because she says, I really wasn't sure how to approach you about that. Why did she feel that she needed to approach me about that? You know? And it went downhill from there. And I couldn't get out of there fast enough. I just hated it. And I quit the guild as a result. Well, that was one of the reasons. There was another reason I quit the guild too. But yeah. So, don't need that hassle. Now, and in the very last retreat we went to, those women were bitches. I'm sorry if it sounds like
it was not the first time we went to one of the sewing groups retreats that was part of the store. That was before COVID happened, and it seemed like we had a fairly good time and stuff like that. But the last one we went to, it was after COVID or at the tail end of COVID, and the people that were there were not very pleasant, and they weren't. It wasn't a nice group. No. And we decided, no, we don't want to do this anymore.
Now, to be fair, they weren't just getting in our faces. That there was a group of them that were stirring up crap amongst some of the other ladies too, and the whole bit. But the whole atmosphere was very negative. And that's not what a retreat is supposed to be. And that is why when I started doing the virtual retreats, my goal is that everyone feels welcome. Everybody has a good time. Nobody needs to feel like they're being bashed or shamed, or that there's quilt police or anything like that. So yeah, so when people write to me and tell me they had a really good time, that makes me feel good, because it means that I'm achieving what I started to achieve. Let's see who came in while we were talking. Let's back it up a bit here so I can see. Oh, why is this not moving? Okay, just catch out. Marjan is here. I overspent on quilting because I don't want to live a life where I don't create. The need is the joy to create. Yep, agree with you. Charlene says, yesterday was my first virtual. Okay, lap first. Well, I guess you're over that now, so you can join us for pop-up sew days and for sewing with Stephanie and Steven as well. Vivian is here. Hi, Vivian. Barb says that. No. Well, I already told you that, Barb. You're not on the blacklist. Nobody is on the blacklist.
Not this time.
Nope, not this time. Angel's here. Hi, Angel. And Karen is here. Nadia is here. Ingrid says, I enjoy the pop-up sew days. Being on Zoom with you all inspires me to get things done. Charlotte says, my laptop totally froze up yesterday during the retreat and had to do a forced shutdown and restart. Yeah, well, technology problems do happen. I mean, in an in-person retreat, you don't have that problem, but then you have other problems. So I would rather put up with the technical problems than with bitchy people.
Well, it's an opportunity to sew at home and also sew with other people at the same time. So.
Yeah. Hi, Nadine. Charlene says, how could you not like Walter? Live with him. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, well, vice versa.
Oh, yeah, bite me. Katie Kraft says, our sewing group had one lady like that. She knew everything about everything, and whatever you were doing required supervision. Oh, yeah. I think we've all experienced that type before. Patricia's here. Hello, Patricia. And Stephanie says, I'm sorry that you and Walter had that experience. Glad you didn't give up on retreats altogether. No, we know that not all retreats are like that. So, and luckily, our first experiences with in-person retreats were good. So
well, there were other problems with those retreats too that we were going to, because the food was terrible.
Oh yeah, that was
the accommodations weren't great.
No, and you want to know something? That does make a difference in the tone that's set in a retreat too, like an in-person retreat. Our local quilt store, goes to the same place every time for it, and that's another reason we don't bother with it. The food is rotten, the accommodation sucks. It's a Bible thumpers Christian camp kind of a thing. You can't drink. Not that you have to go to a retreat and drink, but you might like to have a glass of wine in your room, and they don't like that. Well, guess what? We did anyways.
Not that we're smokers, but they don't allow smokers on the property either.
Anywhere on the property.
I mean, most people don't really smoke much anymore, but I mean, it does limit it if somebody does wants to smoke outside or something.
Yeah. And at every meal, we had to have grace done. But it wasn't just grace, it was a sermonette. And I'm sorry. I am not a Christian, and I don't need that forced down my throat. I have nothing against people who have, and you've heard me say this before, I have nothing against spirituality or anything like that. But because it was a Christian Bible camp, we were kind of forced into this. And I didn't appreciate that.
Yeah, and nowadays, you have different people that have different religious backgrounds.
Yeah.
And, it's not like the old days where everybody had the same Christian background.
Yeah, like, and, not in our country.
I mean, I grew up in a family that weren't religious. We didn't go to an organized religion or anything like that. So even when I was growing up, if I went to a friend's place and they said grace, I felt uncomfortable because we didn't do that at home. And now going to one of these organized places, it makes me feel really uncomfortable when they do that sort of thing.
Like, we had a really good time when we went down to Georgia to Stephanie's retreat at New Year's, and that's why we're going again this year. The accommodation is excellent that's there. There was no lack of food. Like, people brought food, people were cooking, but there were lots of places to go where you could get something to eat not far away. Everybody was friendly. Everybody was there to have a good time. And that, I think, makes all the difference in something like that. But if you're going to some place where they're feeding you crap.
Yeah, the food was not good.
The food was horrible. The food was absolutely horrible. And,
I mean, it's not. I mean, it was. I'd like to say it was edible,
but yeah, you'd like to say that. And they go back to this one every year because it's cheaper than other alternatives. Well, you want to do something? I would pay a little bit more to go to a nicer facility. It would be worth it. And I know a lot of people like to go to in-person retreats. The ladies do, especially, think, because it's a holiday for them. They don't have to cook, they don't have to clean, they don't have to worry about looking after grandchildren or anything like that. They can go and have a good time. And this place is not conducive to a good time with it. So we don't go to that one anymore.
No. I mean, there is another quilt store around here that does do in-person retreats, and maybe someday we'll try that out. But
they go to a much nicer facility.
To a better location, so. And it's really not much. It's
not
really
that much difference in price. No. So, yeah. But anyways, I like the virtual ones the best. Just catching up here. Judy says, it was their loss, Stephen. I enjoyed the retreat that I was on with you. This last one, I knew I couldn't make it, so I didn't sign up. Hopefully, I'll be able to make the next one. Yeah. Well, hopefully you will be. There'll be another one in the fall. I haven't got dates for that yet.
I mean, and there's always pop-up days, or if you're around during the day, there's Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen as well. And
so there's lots of opportunities. I try to throw out a lot of opportunities for that. Judy says, I would have packed up and off home. Yeah, well, we almost did. Kay said she enjoyed the retreat. It was my first virtual retreat experience, and I was impressed with how well organized it was. The presenters were awesome, and so were the free patterns. Yes, and excuse me. The presenters that I have, oh, geez. carry on.
Oh, yeah. Well, the presenters, one of the presentations anyway, I assume Stephanie can say this, is that she put her presentation up on her channel
Yeah.
as well. So if anybody that didn't go to the retreat wants to see that presentation, they can go to Stephanie's channel and see it.
And it was an excellent presentation. And Shannon also did a presentation on, taking, I loved her title, taking the F out of paper piecing, demystifying it, something to that effect. And this time I asked
FPP.
Yeah, FPP. I asked the presenters to do something a little different. I've never done this before. I asked them if they could pre-record their presentation and we would play it, and then they would be available for questions after it went on. And the reason I did that was I thought that might make it a little easier. Even when I asked people not to interrupt the presentation by asking questions, you still get some interruption. Sometimes someone forgets to put their microphone on mute and somebody walks in and has a conversation with them while the presentation is going on, and because they forgot to turn off the microphone, kind of thing, or a dog is barking, or a small child is coming in and wants grandma's attention, or whatever kind of a thing. And also I do put a time constraint on the presenters as well. And I think it's easier for them to, if they do it as pre-recorded, they can edit it in terms of time. If it's running a little long, they can, make those adjustments and everything to it. And I had several people write to me and said they kind of like that format. So I may do that in the future as well, if it is conducive to whatever the presenter might be talking about. But the presenters that I ask do not get paid, okay? Because the retreat is totally free, and they are worth being paid for, but I just can't afford it. So their only payment is my undying gratitude to them as well. And Stephanie and Shannon on this one, just I couldn't be more thankful for having them as friends and as excellent presenters, because it was great. And I really think that helps make the retreat a success from it. So now I know there were a few people asked me that I had advertised that I was going to have a third presenter, Adam Sows. Adam was going through some things, life happens, and I said to him, look, this is going to put too much stress on you right now with what he was going through. I said, let's save it for maybe the next retreat with it. That's okay. Because, yeah, things happen. So down the road, we'll have Adam maybe add another one when it comes up. It's just right now, the timing didn't work out very well. We thought it was going to work, but it just didn't. So that's the answer to that question that I was asked about it all. So, yep, everything went well yesterday, and I was very pleased with it all. So, yeah, I will do another one in the fall. Work-wise, it is a lot of work, but because I've done it, I think this is the 6th one I may have done, like 5 or 6. I've got it down sort of to a formula now. So it's a lot less work than the first couple were. But I'm not afraid of the work. I live to organize. Okay? It's the teacher in me. So, yeah. And I have Walter to always check up on me. And he does. So, yeah. Yeah, Celia says grace is inappropriate for retreat. It makes many people uncomfortable these days. Yes. And like Walter said, you could have people who are coming from a different, not from the Christian religion. You could have someone that's from the Jewish religion, someone who might be Muslim. Yeah, that's the word I was thinking. The fabric, and that kind of thing, or whatever. So yeah.
Or just like me, that just didn't grow up in a religious household type of thing, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. So.
And I think the onus is on the organizers of retreats like that to make sure that they are
I
offering
wonder
something
if
that
they went to that place and they said, we appreciate if you don't have any grace.
I don't think they have the nerve to do that.
Mm.
The people who organize that, I don't think they have the guts to do that. And maybe they don't mind it. Don't really know for sure.
Mm.
But I mean, it does make other people feel uncomfortable, and that sets a mood. So yeah. Now if they advertised it and said, okay, there will be grace at meals. I hope this doesn't upset anybody.
Yeah,
okay.
they don't do that.
They don't tell you that. It is sprung on you. And like I said, it isn't just a prayer. Okay?
It's not just, like when people at home say grace, they just say a couple of little words and say, like thank you for the food and stuff like
good
that.
God, good
But
meat.
this
Good gosh, let's eat.
this is a fairly little sermonette type of thing.
Yeah. And you don't really need that. But anyways, well, we don't go there anymore, so it doesn't bother us at all anymore. So yes, Walter mentioned that Stephanie's presentation, for those of you that weren't able to make the retreat, is up on Stephanie's channel. You can check it out, and I strongly suggest you do, because you will learn quite a bit from it.
Stephanie said that I think she said somewhere that Shannon's will be up later at some point.
Yeah, and Shannon's presentation will be up on her channel too later. So do check those out if you didn't get a chance to see them.
Stephanie Stitches for Stephanie, and what Shannon's one?
Shannon is Slay Arts.
Slay Arts.
Yeah. Judy says I would pay for your retreat. Okay, I'll keep that in note, Judy. Can we say about $1,000? Would that be enough? Boy, I could have some really good prizes. $1,000. But yeah, and that's the other thing about the presenters too. Like Stephanie donated some of her own original patterns as gifts, as prizes. And that was great too. And both Stephanie and Shannon provided a free pattern at the end of their presentations for everybody that was at the retreat as well. I mean, that's what I mean. They went beyond and above anything that I asked from them to do. I did not ask them to donate anything. I want to keep things as easy for the presenters as it possibly can be. So I really appreciate that very much. And they know that, how much I appreciate it. Charlotte says, hey, Stephanie, I have churned butter with a churn like you showed. It was great where my folks found an electric churn. Oh, okay. She used to churn butter. All right. How old are you? Let's go make butter, shall we? Barb says, I never really liked the churn dash pattern, but when I saw Stephanie's churn dash quilt yesterday, I changed my mind. Thank you, Stephanie. Yeah, I have never made a churn dash block either, but I think I might give it a shot.
Yeah,
now.
actually, I really like that quilt that
Yeah.
Stephanie showed with that.
Yeah,
all the small churn dashes on
all around it.
with a great big one in the middle.
Yeah, and that was called Freedom Road, I think, or Freedom Rail. Freedom Road, I think it was. And I think it was, Stephanie said her daughter, Sarah, came up with the title for that. So that's really cool. Colleen says, thank you for the retreat, and especially for the presentations and free patterns. I'm off now to support locally, i.e. try my first lobster roll of the season. See you Wednesday. Okay, Colleen, see you then.
Enjoy your lobster roll.
Yeah. And then KD says, Stephanie, I churned butter as part of a history class. It was fun, but a lot of work. Kim loved Steph's video. I saw it last night. Didn't realize it was her retreat presentation. Excellent. Yeah. It was interesting combination. The quilt history was really interesting, too, that Stephanie started the presentation with. So that was good. That was good. Okay, so like I said, next retreat will be sometime in the early fall, probably in around October, maybe late September, probably more like into October. And yeah, so stay tuned. I will let you know when that's going to happen. So what else is coming up? Well, we've got the Sewcial Review, our monthly Fab 5 event that we have. This month, we're hosting it. So the link for it is already up. The upcoming events is already up on my channel. And the link for it will be in the show notes below. This is this Wednesday coming. Wednesday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're going to be talking about our favorite tools and gadgets and our some that we felt we really got took on or wasted money on as well. So it might be interesting because I think there could be some controversy here amongst our group as to whether or not what one person liked might be something somebody else finds evil as well. So we'll be looking at that. That's what we're talking about this Wednesday night. So hope you can join us. It is a YouTube live. And as I said, the upcoming event is already up on YouTube, on my channel, and it may be on everybody else's as well, for that matter. The link for it. So hope you can join us for that. So we started a new series on So Chatty. It was based on what you told us you would like us to see. You know that we had done a series on using your embroidery machine. Now we're going to another machine. We're going to the Accuquilt. Now, yes, there are tons of videos out there about using Accuquilt. But what I have found with those videos, for the most part, is they're usually put together by, well, Accuquilt itself or one of the quilt stores that sells Accuquilt or are an authorized dealer for Accuquilt. And so what you're getting is really a sales pitch. We're going to get down and dirty with the Accuquilt. It's not all roses, okay, with the Accuquilt. I love my Accuquilt, but it's not for everybody. So we've done the first in the series, which was basically an overview as to what is an Accuquilt, which machine, you know, they have different models of machines, different price ranges, things like that. And this week coming, we're going to get into more of the, you know, the actual ins and outs of cutting your fabric, how to be most efficient with cutting your fabric, because that's one of the criticisms of Accuquilt. There's a lot of fabric waste. If you've seen Eleanor Burns, she takes the little strip and throws it over her shoulder. And that bothers some people. I know some people are on a tight budget and they really don't like wasting fabric, but there is a way to cut efficiently. So we will talk about that and other things as well. So that's on this week's So Chatty, which is Friday. That'll come out on late Friday as well. Just checking what people are saying here before I go on to the next topic. People who churn butter. All right.
You can do it in a mixer too.
What butter making?
Make butter.
But why do we want to make butter?
To see how it's being made.
Okay. Everybody should experience that probably once. Have you ever made butter?
Yes, I have.
Have
in
you?
a mixer. Just get some whipping cream and you beat the hell out of it until it turns to butter.
And I like whipped butter.
Yeah, well, that's not really whipped butter.
I remember seeing a Far Side comic once. It reminds me. There were a couple of cows that were being hung from a rafter by their hoofies. Mm-hmm. And there was a guy in a black mask with a whip. And it said below, the terrible reality of whipped cream.
Yeah.
They go, it's or whipped butter. I thought that was hilarious. That guy's got a real wicked sense of humor. It appeals to me. Just looking here. Shirley says, I would have loved to have been at the retreat, but knew in advance I probably would make it there. Next one for sure. Well, I hope you'll be able to get to the next one, Shirley, for sure. And speaking of which, Shirley was one of my presenters at one of the retreats as well and gave an excellent presentation about how you can change pretty much any block into a foundation paper piecing pattern using freezer paper and other tools. It was really great. That's why I call her the queen of freezer paper.
I don't know about that, Marianne, about you have to get your cream at for a decent price.
Yeah.
So cream's not cheap now either, so.
Yeah, so I don't know. It depends. You got to wait, you have to wait how much it's going to cost you to buy butter at today's prices, and how much time, effort, and money are you saving anything? Are you getting more out of it? I don't know. We're just doing it for the fun of it. Teresa said she recently cut out a double wedding ring using Accuquilt. There's no way I'd do it without now. I'm having some difficulty with the arcs coming out to size though. Die set for sale. Yeah, I've got that die as well, and it's still in the packaging. Haven't tried it yet. I haven't got up the nerve yet because, you know, everybody talks about the horrors of doing a double wedding ring. And they look nice when they're done, but you know there's a lot of work on it. One of the ladies that was at the retreat that I know fairly well, Johanna, she finally finished during the retreat the double wedding ring quilt that she was making for, I think it might be for her
grandson.
It's her grandson as a wedding gift.
Yeah.
And she's been working on it for several years. And it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. But it's also a king size.
Yeah.
And she says she'll never do a king size quilt again. And I don't blame her. I have never done a king size. Well, first of all, I don't have a king size bed. So what's the point of it? And no, it's just too much time. But really, I should give it a go. Maybe I'll get that die out sometime this year and try maybe a small one. Maybe I'll try like a laptop or a lap quilt, or maybe even a wall hanging or something like that first. I don't know, see how it goes, because I don't like sewing curves either. Although Accuquilt supposedly puts little notches in where you line them up and it's supposed to make your life easier. That's to be seen. Shirley says I paid him to say that. Yeah, right. Where's the check? It's in the mail. Yeah. Okay, Joan. Have a good week. And Teresa says, oh no, I have to have it done for next May. Well, good luck with that. Okay, so, yep, that's about So Chatty. Okay, another special event that's coming up this week is on Russ's channel, Quilt Meets World. Russ is having his 1,000 plus subscriber bash, and there's a bunch of us that are getting together for the little party on that night. I've put the link to it in the show notes below. It is a YouTube live, and it's on this coming Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So do be there. Lots of things here. I joked with this group with us that we hang out so much together, Shannon and Stephanie and Russ and Walter and I, that I said, maybe we should start running our own YouTube programming channel, like a TV network. I just don't know how that would work. I suppose we have one right now because we refer to each other's stuff all the time, back and forth. And yeah. And it's all free. Free. We should be thinking about that. Nah, people had to pay for it. We'd never make any money. Oh, and what's now available is my second pattern. I sent it out to everybody that was at the retreat. Windmills and Stars is what it's called. But now in the show notes, you will find the link to my Google Drive, and you can download it for free for yourself. Am I going to do a sew along with it? No, I am not. It has been inspected by experts, Stephanie, Walter, and that, and I don't think there's any mistakes in it. So if you find one, write to me and let me know. Now, just on this note, if you ask me a question about how to do something in the pattern, I think it's pretty clear. It is Accuquilt friendly, by the way. There's a section on there which dyes you can use with it as well. I might not be able to help you with it that much. There are certain decisions you have to make on your own. And I'm sorry if these scare you, but color combinations. Okay? I can't pick colors for you because we all have different taste. But the way I designed the pattern, it gives you an idea of like dark, mediums, and lights. And what my recommendation would be is for you to go to your stash of fabrics, pull out a background fabric and pull out 4 for that particular pattern, 4 fabrics, the colors you really like that go together, and make your decision from that. What are you going to use? Look at the diagrams that come with the pattern and decide for yourself what's going to be fabric 1, fabric 2, etc., and label them as such. I get the feeling that some people get really tied up with color choices to the point where they want somebody else to make the decision for them. It can't be done. It can't be done.
Yeah, because everybody's color selections for everybody. Everybody has their own taste in colors.
Yeah.
And let's say my taste in colors, or Steve's taste in colors, are probably different than a lot of other people's taste in colors.
Yeah. So go with your gut. I mean, what's the worst thing? It's not going to look ugly. It's not going to look ugly. No matter what you pick, it will be fine. So just go with that. Be courageous in your color choices with it. It's only fabric and thread. So, you know. The other thing, too, is this quilt is really easy to construct because basically all you need to make are half square triangles and flying geese.
Of course it is. You made it.
Have you ever written a pattern? No. Have you ever finished a quilt? Not really. Just saying.
Sorry.
You're not.
I couldn't help it.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, it is half square triangles and flying geese. And I do put in one recommendation on how to make your half square triangles and your flying geese. But if you've got a method that works for you, go with it. I pretty much stuck to the most standard methods in the quilt. But if, you know, for anybody that's a little bit more advanced, I'm sure you have your preferred method. Use it. If it works for you, use it. Feel free to make the pattern your own. Do with it what you will. That's why it's there. So, as I said, the link for it is in the show notes below. And you'll also find the link for my first one, for When Stars Collide. Am I working on a third pattern? Not at the moment. I had ideas for that, which I talked about a few weeks ago when we got back from Australia. That didn't work out. So, seemed like a good idea at the time, but as I got working with it, nope, not doing that. So right now, I don't have any ideas for a future pattern, but who knows? I might find some inspiration for something. Let's see, backing up here. Russ says, if only someone worked for a media company to figure out a Fan 5 channel out. Well, you kind of work in media, don't you, Russ?
About color choices was like I've seen this in the fabric stores before, where somebody will come in and they'll have 2 colors that are part of their quilt, and then they're looking for a third color to go with that quilt, and they'll pick out 3 or 4 different choices and look at it. And all 3 of the choices would go with those 2 colors that they've got.
Yeah.
But they can't seem to decide on which one of the other colors that they've picked out will go with it.
Yeah.
And I've seen the lady that owns the store walk by them and say, "Oh yeah, pick that color.
Yeah.
It'll make a pop." And basically all she's doing is just randomly picking a color.
Yeah.
Because they already know that that's the color that they'll want, but they won't make the decision.
And a lot of people do get frozen in fear of picking their colors. And that is why there are a lot of YouTube channels out there that do color theory. And then they scare you even more if you're one of those people that gets a little bit upset or uptight about picking colors. They tell you about the color wheel. I'm going to tell you something right now, and this is probably blasphemy. Never use a color wheel. If you want to freak your brain out, you want to make it even more complicated, use a color wheel. Don't. You know the best way to go with it, and all human beings have this ability. Go with your gut. You will know if the colors you have picked are going to work because you'll just know instinctively. It's built into the human psyche with that when it comes to color. What stops people from going with their gut is they're afraid of judgment by other people. Well, get over that because people are going to judge. They might not say it to your face, but they will judge. But that's because, as Walter just said, what colors I like and what colors you like could be very different. But whose quilt is it? It's your quilt. What are you going to say?
Well, I kind of like blues and purples. I like really bright colors and stuff like that. Whereas other people like pale colors. And I may not like pale colors. But then I like bright colors. You may not like bright colors. So, I mean, that's your taste. My taste is different.
Yeah. And Barb says, personally, I think the color wheel is such a boring theory. I pick colors I like and go with it. I don't agonize over it. Colors, see, what somebody did when they invented the color wheel, we're trying to make a science out of picking the right colors. So, you know, that's carried over into the paint industry. When you're painting your house, you have all those swatches of colors for that. When you're picking out clothing, remember back in the 80s, the 90s, it was really popular to have your colors done to, you know, so you would most flattering colors on your body. But don't you already know when you pick out an outfit, you're buying a new outfit, do you not, when you try it on, hold it up, do you not realize what you think looks best on you? It is a mood thing. It isn't intellectual. It has to do with your emotions. Do these colors make you feel happy?
Yeah, and a lot of people get too hung up on getting a color to match something else.
Yeah.
Like, you know, people that make napkins are trying to get them to match their curtains type of thing. Or whatever.
You know,
well,
the carpet match the drapes. I don't know. But
and you go into a field and the field's all green.
Yeah.
Right? And there's a million different colors of flowers in that field. Does anybody say, oh, well, those colors don't match?
Yeah, really. Like, you can get too obsessed with the picking of colors. Go with your gut. If it makes you feel good, you got the right color combination. If it makes you go, then maybe try again. Okay? So, and if anybody walks up to you and goes, oh my God, it's a shame about the colors you picked for that quilt because I wouldn't have used those colors. Guess what? Not your quilt. And you're not my friend anymore.
Oh, you had that before when you took a class one time.
Yeah.
And you wanted to do the quilt all in K facet, right?
Yeah, right.
And the person that was teaching the class didn't like K facet.
Yeah.
Didn't like those color selections. And they said, oh, that's not going to work. But you did it anyway, and you really liked it. And they actually
she actually swallowed her words at the end of it and said, well, I didn't think that would work, but yeah.
It looks okay. But then she did her sample quilt in pale pinks, pale purples, and
they were
very
all
pale colors.
They were
all with a white background. But those are colors that you don't really care for.
No. But it wasn't my quilt.
No.
Whatever floated her boat.
I mean, and I saw people looking at that quilt and saying, oh, I really like those colors in that quilt. And I was looking at it and saying, well, I don't really like those colors.
No. And the other thing, too, is I think we're very much influenced by the experts. The experts tell us what the color is of the year and everything, and that what's trending now. Well, you know, if you like that color combination, go with it. But you don't have to like it just because some expert told you it's on point, it's trendy. No, doesn't matter. Like Walter says, nature. Look at nature. I remember one time years ago buying furniture. And I was looking at woodwork on the furniture, and I said, yeah, but that's my color of my existing pieces or something that'll be going with that. That's not the same shade or what of the wood. And the lady looked at me in the store, and she said, you ever been in a forest? Looked at the trees? Do they match? No. But they all seem to work together, don't they? And after that, after she told me that, I thought, yeah, really. In other words, you don't need to match your woodwork up with everything. It doesn't have to be matchy-matchy. So apply that to the choices you want to make for your quilt. It's your quilt. Do what you want. Let's see. Sue says, if you want to lose your color mind, read a book on Munsell color theory. It combines color with math. Yeah, you see, I think the science world or whatever, the experts have done us dirt about that. They have made us feel like we can't depend on our own judgment when it comes to colors. We have to reduce it to a formula. And a lot of people are looking for the formula. You've all met the people who go into a quilt store and they see a quilt on display and they see that there's a pattern for it. And they want exactly the same fabric because they want to make that quilt and they want exactly the same quilt. And then they get really uptight when that fabric isn't available anymore, because we all know that happens, right? Well, pick your own stuff. Why do you want to do exactly the same thing as everybody else? Make it your own with it. That's what I say about my patterns too. Yeah, it's my pattern. And people have been sending me pictures of what their final version of When Stars Collide looks like. And they're beautiful. And I think that really is something that flatters anybody who creates a pattern. That somebody liked your pattern well enough to make it their own and do their thing with it. I don't find that an insult. I find that a compliment. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm not sure how we got on all that, but we did. So what else? Okay. Speaking of events too, Men's Sew Day, no more. I'm not doing it anymore. Technically, I was doing it the first Sunday of every month, and the first Sunday was today. But I knew there was no way that I'd be too tired from yesterday to bother with that today. And to be honest, nobody has emailed me and asked me about it, any of the men in the group. And which says to me, well, we only usually had about 4, counting Walter and myself. And I don't think they're interested in that kind of thing. And quite frankly, I find them boring.
And the guys that supposedly will come to it are...
how do we put it nicely? Flaky.
Some are.
Yeah, some are.
Some aren't. But, and then there's one like you were talking to that wanted you to organize an in-person retreat.
In Montreal.
In the city that they lived in.
In Montreal. Yeah. No, not happening.
And this person was wishy-washy whether they would come to a virtual retreat anyway.
Yeah. So, no, I'm not doing the men's sewing thing. It was an experiment. Didn't work out. That's okay. If those guys want to come to one, I run the pop-up sew days. I have the retreats. They're welcome to join in with that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Not doing them anymore. So that's off the books. So another thing that I said I wasn't going to do, but I've decided I am going to do it, is my vlog. Talked about it there a week ago or something, and I had my mind pretty much made up that I was no longer going to do the vlog that I do on Mondays. Then I had people write to me. And apparently, I am a source of entertainment first thing in the morning with their coffee for the vlog. And then other people said, well, don't get rid of this part of it or whatever that part. So I am slightly revamping a few things. I'm bringing some things back. I didn't know that people really liked the Ring doorbell sequence where I show what's outside of that the Ring doorbell sees, but that's back. And I'm not doing blasts from the past with our previous trips. I mean, for the last year and a half or so, I've been doing clips from our past trips of Australia. But now there's a whole playlist now from our latest one, and you're probably Australian to death. What I am going to do is I'm going back into the archives of my videos from way back when I first started the channel, when I was a paper crafter, and I'm pulling up some of those and I'm criticizing them. So I'm going to make fun of those videos from the early days. So the first one will be up tomorrow, Monday, in my vlog as well. And I'm going to continue with the 3D printing. I've had several people tell me that they like those even though they don't have a 3D printer. But now I'm trying to challenge myself on what I make on the 3D printer. Basically, will the effing thing print is what I'm calling that section of it now. And yeah, so those are still on, but with some slight changes to them. And somebody did criticize me in the comments about that, saying, well, yeah, you should get rid of it because there's too much repetition in your channel. Yeah, there is. I do repeat certain things. But as I've explained before, I'll often show what on the vlog what I have been working on. But if it's a quilt or something like that, which it usually is, on Idiot Quilter, I talk about them again in much more detail. Like I point out my mistakes, the problems I had with it, things like that. In the vlog, I just mention it. So yeah, there's a little overlap. But yeah, I'll try to keep the overlap to a minimum. But there's still going to be some overlap. Just the nature of the beast with that. Okay, so yeah, I'm still debating whether I'm making a hair appointment sometime next week. If I feel up to it, and I'm pretty sure that I can't transfer COVID. I don't think I'm contagious anymore. But holy crap, it's going over 5 weeks now. I get my hair cut every 3 weeks. And
So when's your next appointment?
well, technically it's scheduled for the 16th of May, so that's still 2 weeks away.
Well, you could take my appointment and then I'll just go on your appointment.
Okay, when's your appointment?
The 9th.
When's the 9th?
This
Thursday. Yeah, I could switch around to that maybe. It's driving me nuts. I feel like a hippie. But anyways, we'll see. Okay, so let's see. Let's catch up here. Charlotte says, I don't care for all the pale pastel colors in quilts. I'm really drawn to bright, vivid colors. I am too, but lots of people love the pastels, and that's their choice. Oh, Barb says, Steve, be honest, you enjoy the woman chatter.
No.
No.
There was a nice quiet section from yesterday.
Yes.
Where nobody was talking.
That was peaceful. Yeah. What I enjoy is stirring the pot among them. But anyways, enough about that. Karen says, yay, the vlog lives.
Teresa said, let your hair grow. She wants to see you in a white afro.
Yeah.
Well, there's a picture of you with a brown afro.
It was brown afro. Yeah. So Jeannie says, I like the indoor gardening. Yeah. And that's one of the things I'm keeping, except right now there's nothing to look at.
Yeah.
Because somebody has.
I have to get some more soil.
Yeah, we need to get our lettuce going and our peppers going and our onions going and our basil going and the whole bit, because those things take time in that. Charlotte says, Monday morning coffee with Stephen is great. Okay, maybe that's what I should call it. Instead of my vlog, I should call it Coffee with Me. Sue likes the Monday vlog. My week starts with you and the opinionated quilter. I love the opinionated quilter. She's just no nonsense. She says what she means, and I really respect that. Andy says, hey, don't criticize your first videos. They're still near and dear to my heart. Well, yeah, Andy, because, see, Andy is not a quilter. She is a paper crafter, journalist, art journalist, and things like that. And that's what when I first started the channel, that's what it was sort of about on there, because I was too. Stephen critiques past Stephen. Yeah, this should be fun. Oh, yeah. Jan likes the old episodes. Okay. So you don't like the new ones, Jan? Is that what you're saying? Really? Hurt me? Not much. Let the hair grow. I want to see. Yeah, you're not going to see that. So, as usual, we did have a topic for today, and we never got to it. And it was about scammers. But I've noticed lately on the news and our government and everything, they're all saying, "Oh, beware of the scammers" and the whole bit. But what are they doing about it? So I did look up for our Canadian government. I looked up their website from the government of Canada about reporting scams. And I'll just show you here what it looks like. So here it is. You can go online here and report a scam. Submit a report. I have done that. Nothing happens. Nothing. You don't get any acknowledgement. I think you get a little canned email message back that says, "Thank you so much for reporting this, and our team will be looking into it." Yeah, bullshit. Learn the signs of a scam. Demanding immediate payment, requesting payment with cryptocurrency or gift cards, using threatening language, sending you a link to click on, asking for personal financial information. Well, if you don't know anything, don't know those already, what rock are you living under?
And there's a few people that are living under a rock.
You know, first of all, requesting payment with cryptocurrency or gift cards, logic would say to you, how can you pay your revenue, your government's revenue site, whether it's the IRS or the CRA here in Canada, you owe them money in taxes, pay in Amazon gift cards or in Apple gift cards or something like that. Where is the sense in that? Like, really? Quite frankly, I do not feel sorry for anybody who's gotten sucked in to pay something in cryptocurrency or in gift cards. Okay? They need to be in a home. They need to have somebody looking after them at that point. Sending you links to click on. Okay, the policy I have right now is if somebody sends me something and it's got a link, if I don't know this person, and even if I do know the person, I do not click on it because you're asking for trouble with that kind of thing. And same goes with attachments. If you're getting stuff that's sent to you as an attachment on your email, if you don't know the person and you're not expecting somebody that you know to send you something like that, do not open it. Contact them.
If you look for business or something online, make sure that the link that you're going to on that business online is an actual correct business.
Yeah.
That you're going to, because people are going like one guy was going, he was looking for information on Best Buy, and he went to what he thought was a Best Buy site, and it was a scam site.
Yeah.
Right? You make sure where you're going is actually a correct site, and make sure that if you're being sent links or going to links on this, and they're asking you strange questions like your banking information and that you're not going to give them that.
The easiest thing for you to do is to look at the email address that the message came from. Now, on some email providers, you have the option to have a more condensed view of the headers in the emails, but there's something called verbose, and you can find it in your settings. It may not be called verbose, it may be called something else, where it will automatically, when you go to the email, it will have the full information appear in the header. It is worth looking at that because you will notice immediately that this is not from whoever it says it's supposed to be from, because there'll be some strange letter character strings in there. It'll go to weird sites, you know, like hotbabes101.com. Yeah, no, unless you're basically a member of that site. That kind of thing. Check that out first before you click on a link with it. Then they've got all this information here. Messages claimed to be from Service Canada. That's Service Canada is what the CRA is, Canadian Revenue Association. They say that claiming to be from Canada Revenue. There's a lot of those ones. They often come in the form of telephone calls, threatening you, telling you that you owe money, there was a mistake in your income tax, all that kind of stuff.
Or text messages, or...
Yeah. They do not send you that kind of information. The onus is on you to check that out, and there is a government site you can go to, and you have to register to get into your account, and you have to jump through a lot of flaming hoops to get in there for yourself too. And I'm sure the IRS in the States is the same way, is with that. So don't bother with that. And all these ones, now the way they get people on those CRA and IRS ones are people who feel guilty. They purposely left something off their income tax. They found me. And that's what they're counting on, that they'll suck you in on that. No. Then they talk about types of Government of Canada related scams, phone calls, scams, prepaid cards, email scams, text messages, mail scams, common scams, and all this kind of stuff. And then they talk about protecting yourself. Okay, this is all good information, but guess what? The government's doing nothing. That's all they're doing is putting this information up for you. They are not taking an active role. They think that's an active role in protecting you. Now, for people who are tech savvy, this might be enough. But for people who are older, live on their own, don't have somebody to help them out with this kind of stuff, the government should be helping out those people, and they're not. And even the police are not helping people out with scams because, of course, we all know about car theft. And the latest, the Toronto Police Services have told people the best way to protect yourself from car theft is to hand them the keys, so they don't do a home invasion and looking for your keys to get the car. That is not helpful advice. So even our police force, they're doing nothing about it. So I guess we have to take it into our own hands and protect ourselves the best way we can. And the grandparent scam. Hi, Grandma, Grandpa. It's your grandson. I got into a little bit of trouble. Well, you know what people do with that one is immediately they hear the voice, but they may not recognize the voice completely. They're not sure. And they'll say the name. Oh, Mark, what's happened? They now know the name of your grandson. And they can very quickly glean information from what people say on the phone to make it sound like this is legit. How do I know this? I had it happen to me, and I almost got sucked in. And
it was nephew.
It was my nephew, supposedly. And they caught me at a point in time where my mind filled in all the blanks and created a scenario with it. And if I hadn't had Walter stand there and going, wait just a minute, they probably would have got me at the time. So yeah, even people who think that they're, sophisticated.
You got out there and says, what's your middle name?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. This is how, I'm pretty sure it wasn't legit because of as it went on. But I said, yeah, okay, before we go any further, what's your middle name? They hung up. The gig was up. But yeah, watch out for that. And that feeds on older people, which many of us here are older people. So depends on your mood at the time. It, never say never. So just protect yourself because nobody else is going to protect you. Obviously. The world is full of these scammers and nobody's doing anything about it at all. Even your internet provider tries to claim that they have ways of they're protecting your interests. They're not. They sell your basic information to third-party companies. They claim they don't, but they do. They do. So they're part of the problem. They're not part of the solution. So anyways, that was something we were going to talk about today, but we just did. That's enough of that. So let's just catch up what people are saying. Angel has to go. Bye, Angel. Have a good week. Patsy says, last scam caller I had, I called him out and he told me go to hell. Yeah, they're just rude. Once they figure the gig is up. I've had that happen too. The guy who created the largest cryptocurrency is going to jail for money laundering. Oh yeah, yeah, I read that in the news, Andy. Yeah, cryptocurrency. No, no, it isn't. They're putting something that doesn't really exist. It exists, but no, it's this make money fast scheme with it. No, stay away from cryptocurrency. Um, Teresa got close to getting scammed. An ad for Pennington's came up with huge sale. No pun there. Okay. Huge sale. If you know what Pennington's is, it's for your more full-figured ladies out there. And it looked exactly like their site. I saw dollars in savings, but when checking out, they didn't have my membership on file. Yeah. Yeah, they do that a lot. Lots of sites do that, make you think you're going to save all this money.
You look at the URL that you've got at the top, your connection, and you can see right away whether you're dealing with a real store or not.
Yeah.
And if you're unsure, don't go there.
Don't go there. You know, go directly to the site and see if it's there. If it's only coming through your email, if you go directly to the site and that sale isn't there, well, you know. I'm getting to the point now where I'm trying to get rid of any of these emails. So we were talking about it earlier, trying to unsubscribe from ones, you know, because there's just too many of these kinds of emails, and it's getting more difficult to tell what's legit and not legit because they reproduce the logos and everything, and they look really legit. Again, go up to the address, expand it, and look at what that address is.
There was one not too long ago of a guy buying a printer from Best Buy, getting it home and needing some assistance in setting it up. And he did a search for Best Buy. Well, I don't know if he spelled the name wrong or something. He went to the first ad that popped up, and turned out it was a scam site. And now his first clue would have been that they tried to get into his bank account. And the other part was that he had to go out and pay them some money out in cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Well, and he got sucked in. He lost $25,000 on it.
And like Jan says, she's been running into lots of fake websites. Yes, there are. And did you know that when you do a Google search, the first 2 or 3 or 4 sites that come up on Google, there'll be a little word beside it says ad, sponsored. Those businesses have paid, so they'll be in the top spot. However, some of them pay and are fraudulent.
Yeah.
So be careful. Don't necessarily click on one of those. Look again. It's printed there what the address is. So, you know, you got to do your due diligence on this stuff, unfortunately. Hi, Karen. Teresa says, that got me thinking. Looked at the site, and it was a Penning XYZ at the checkout. It was also not Pennington, so I locked my card in case they caught the numbers. Yeah, that's what I mean. You got to check the address. Yep, and Teresa says she checked the actual site for the store, and there was no sale. It was just bullshit, yeah. Barb says, Stephen, your opinion, please. I subscribed to a Soaring Channels newsletter. Within a few minutes, I had over 200 emails in various languages, etc. Why would this have happened? First of all, the channel that you subscribe to is a fraud. Okay. No legitimate business is going to send you out that many emails in different languages and things like that. There are fraudulent sites on YouTube and, as Jan says, on the internet as well.
And you provided them with your email address.
Yep. And so now you're going to get them. Okay, Missouri Star Quilt, I have a bone to pick with them. I'm on their subscribers list. I had been for a while, and I'm thinking of unsubscribing from them because I get 3 to 4 emails from them every day. They're legit, but that is something legitimate businesses should be aware of. Sending out that many emails on a daily basis, including every day of the week, I got some today too, is overkill.
Okay. Barb says she's not a fraud, but I'll let her know. Yeah, you know what? Basically, her her site has been compromised.
Yeah, her site's been compromised.
I have had it once where I went to a site that I knew was a legitimate business and put in my credit card, and next thing you know, I got charges on my credit card that were fake. And I caught it right away, and I went back to the site, and turns out that site, I complained to them, and they said they found out that they had a virus on their site.
Yeah. And the other thing too is on certain sites on the internet, people who are legit, they post like a newsletter or they post a blog all the time. And if you notice when you're reading that blog, that there will be advertisements that will come up between what they have written, and it may be something you're interested in and you click on it. Be careful clicking on those. The reason those come up is not that they're put up by the person who is posting that newsletter or whatever, is because they've gone to a site where they're able to do that blog for free. And the trade-off is that the site will stick ads in, but not all those ads are necessarily legit. Or they may be for other sites that when you click on them, automatically want you to register, and then you're going to get more emails from them. So be careful on what you click on. That's what happens. They're embedded. Scammers are extremely clever.
And they're getting more and more bold as time goes on.
Yeah. And Linda says, I have unsubscribed so many legitimate sewing sites due to mass emails. Yeah. Legitimate businesses are doing themselves a discredit here by sending out so many emails at once. It's overkill.
Yeah, what was the one that you went Dinky Doo?
Dinky Doo.
Dinky Doo.
Horrible.
Horrible. They'll send you 4 or 5 multiple emails in a day.
Yeah, they're a horrible company to deal with as well. Their customer service sucks. I will not deal with them at all. They advertise products at certain prices. Next thing you find out, it's a pre-order sale, and it'll be months before you'll ever see the product. And months, like I'm talking 6, 8, whatever out of it all. I mean, maybe other people have dealt with them, have had good luck. I have not, and nothing will convince me that I should ever have anything to do with that company again over time. So, but anyways, that's another one that, overkill on stuff. But anyways, buyer beware, I guess. But it's unfortunate that we don't have any government or police agencies or things that are helping us with this, except giving us useless information about it all, because that's what it comes down to. Yeah, I know. It's such a bad problem that it's probably very hard to fight it. So I guess we have to look after ourselves. So anyways, thinking of looking after ourselves, it's time to go. We're over time on this. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Thank you for all of those of you that came to the retreat and for your kind comments about it and everything. And there'll be more in the future. And we've told you about everything that's coming up this week. So, yeah, things are in the show notes. So, everybody, have a really great week, and we'll see you later. Bye for now.
Bye for now.